Well, welcome back, fans. Here, the focus has shifted to the situation of Sixers superstar Joel Embiid, who suffered a very concerning left knee injury on Tuesday against the Warriors. Reports say Embiid will miss at least 2 weeks. As more details emerge, it's looking increasingly likely he could miss significant time. This would be a massive blow to the championship hopeful Sixers, who heavily rely on Embiid's MVP-level production and two-way dominance. There is still a lot of uncertainty surrounding his recovery timeline. The injury. Let's start by taking a closer look at the play where Embiid suffered this troublesome knee injury. It happened with just under 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Embiid was matched up on the perimeter against Warriors' 19-year-old rookie Jonathan Kuminga. Kuminga drove hard left from the three-point line and Embiid moved laterally well to cut him off baseline. As Kuminga elevated for a powerful dunk attempt, Embiid went straight up with perfect defensive position to contest the shot. Embiid's textbook defense forced Kuminga to adjust awkwardly in midair while absorbing contact from the 7-foot force. When Kuminga's momentum carried him downward, he crashed down directly on top of Embiid's bent left leg with all of his body weight. You can see Embiid immediately start limping after his knee buckles slightly from supporting Kuminga's heavy falling motion. Embiid remained down on the floor grimacing in visible pain for several minutes as the Sixers training staff came out to check on their cornerstone player. Eventually, Embiid did walk slowly back to the locker room under his own power. But he was clearly laboring and favoring the left leg with an anguished expression that made the nervous Philly crowd gasp, seeing their MVP candidate hobbling off. Replays showed Embiid's knee joint compressed awkwardly with the toe pointing outward when Kuminga landed on it. That severe lateral impact could certainly cause trauma to stabilizing structures like Embiid's lateral meniscus cartilage or ligaments surrounding the knee. Given Embiid's long history of injuries throughout his career, the Sixers staff is far too familiar having to wait anxiously to assess damage anytime Embiid goes down after taking a hard spill. Unfortunately, this time those worries prove valid once again. Initial reporting. In their post-game press conference, the Sixers didn't have much information to provide about Embiid's status. Head coach Doc Rivers told reporters the team was still evaluating Embiid's knee and determining next steps. Rivers said Embiid would undergo an MRA on Wednesday. On Thursday morning, ESPN's senior NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski reported that Embiid has suffered a torn ligament in his left knee, specifically the lateral meniscus. The lateral meniscus provides stability and shock absorption in the knee joint. Was said Embiid will be re-evaluated over the weekend before the team decides how to proceed. The main decision is determining whether Embiid will require surgery to repair the torn meniscus or if the injury can heal without going under the knife. Surgery versus conservative treatment. If Embiid elects to have knee surgery, he would likely miss at least 6-8 weeks recovering, and that's on the shorter end of typical recovery periods from torn meniscus surgery. Other players like Chris Paul and Kawhi Leonard have been sidelined for closer to 10 to 12 weeks after undergoing meniscus procedures. The other option is conservative treatment with rest, rehab, and potentially a knee brace. This path could allow Embiid to return within 2 to 4 weeks, but runs a higher risk of re-injury or the tear worsening over time without surgical repair. How long could Embiid be out? As ESPN's Ramona Shelburne reported, the initial expectation is Embiid will be sidelined for at least the next 2 weeks. He was already ruled out for this weekend's games prior to the official injury diagnosis. Beyond that, though, it's anyone's guess. Wojnarowski said on Thursday that while the team gathers more information and consults with various specialists this weekend, Embiid is bracing for a prolonged absence. Other NBA insiders echoed this, saying all options remain on the table at this point. If Embiid decides to rehab without surgery, he could attempt to return in 2 to 3 weeks if the symptoms improve, but the team will surely be cautious either way. And if symptoms persist or get worse, season-ending surgery could be back in play. How the Sixers are proceeding for now. For the time being, the front office seems to be operating under the mindset Embiid will be back before the playoffs. Team president Daryl Morey told The Athletic they will be aggressive in looking for upgrades via trade that complement Embiid and co-star James Harden with the postseason in mind. suggesting he anticipates Embiid suiting up again this year. In the locker room, you could see the somber mood among Sixers players after Embiid went down. Harden said post-game, seeing his superstar teammate on the floor in a lot of pain was a scary sight for the whole team. Several Sixers players have posted messages of support for Embiid on social media. Despite the understandable frustration and concern over Embiid's situation, the Sixers pulled out an impressive win over the Warriors behind Tyrese Maxey's career-high 44 points. Maxey boldly stepped up as the alpha scorer when Philly needed him most. After surpassing his previous career high of 38 points by halftime, Maxey scored 30 second-half points to seal the Sixers' comeback victory, showing tremendous leadership for a 21-year-old. His emergence is a huge positive takeaway as Philly forges ahead without Embiid in the lineup indefinitely. How the team performs without Embiid. As phenomenal as Maxey was filling in as the number one option, the Sixers will need more contributions from supporting players to stay afloat if Embiid remains sidelined long-term. Over the last 2 seasons, when Embiid sits, the Sixers are just 17, and their net rating drops by a massive 12.9 points per 100 possessions. Offensively, Embiid's versatile scoring prowess is virtually impossible to replace. He's averaging league best numbers of 33.1 points and nearly 11 free throw attempts per game this season while scoring from all 3 levels efficient. In the 2 games the process has already missed, the Sixers dropped a bad loss at home to the Knicks before stealing a win at Cleveland, despite nearly coughing up a double-digit lead in the 4th quarter. Those inconsistent showings exemplified how much Embiid lifts this team at both ends when available. How an Embiid absence impacts the Sixers' ceiling. However, there's no question Philadelphia's championship upside decreases substantially. If forced to enter the playoffs without Embiid or with him at less than 100%. Embiid has a strong case as the NBA's MVP frontrunner for transforming the Sixers into true title threats this season after years of early playoff shortcomings. Since acquiring Harden 2 weeks ago already reshaped the balance of power at the top of the East, losing Embiid for an extended stretch or the rest of the way would significantly close the gap. Meanwhile, the rival Bucks and Heat made upgrades before the trade deadline as well over the last 24 hours. Considering Embiid's lengthy injury history, Philadelphia knew the risks building around the oft-injured superstar long-term. Bigger picture outlook on Embiid's career. Stepping back from just this season's implication, an injury like this sparks larger concerns over Embiid's career trajectory too. Knee issues have cost Embiid major time almost every year of his career since being drafted in 2014, along with various other injuries that limited one of the most uniquely gifted big men we've ever seen. After finally playing a near full season during his MVP caliber 2020-21 campaign, Embiid had stayed durable once again this year before Tuesday's knee injury occurred. Relying on Embiid to drive a contender, given all the previous ailments he's battled through, is admittedly scary for Sixers fans. Embiid suffering yet another injury with questionable severity is just an unfortunate reality Philadelphia must deal with given the brittle nature of their franchise player. Still just 28 years old, Embiid should have many prime years ahead if the knee damage doesn't prove irreparable. Considering surgery generally comes with longer recovery timelines, we predict Embiid and the team decide to rehab the knee without going under the knife over these next 10 to 14 days. Guess is we eventually see him return in limited action after missing roughly 1 month. Anyway, losing their MVP frontrunner for any period of time could really damage the Sixers' title hopes this year. How Embiid's tricky knee situation is managed over the next few weeks will go a long way in determining Philadelphia's ceiling this postseason. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more NBA injury updates and analysis as the Embiid story develops. Thanks for watching.